Good evening, folks. We are back at you again from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, as the Calgary Stallions welcome the Minnesota Norse into Canadian Western Bank Center. As the Minnesota Norse opened their season, Calgary won last night 7-6 in a thrilling game against Edmonton. Minnesota now here. Minnesota wins the draw and they come in on the attack. McNaughton poked away by Bernier. Reinhardt up to Pedersen. Pedersen cutting in. Tries to knock it back and it'll leave the zone. Reinhardt up to Pedersen. Sticked away. McNaughton. Gets it up to Cotier. Cotier poked away. Calgary now coming on the attack. Behind the net. Comes all the way through to McNaughton. McNaughton to Bjornsson. Bjornsson to the red line. Sticked away. Bure to McNaughton. McNaughton across to Konstantinov. Orshevsky. Coming in 2-on-3. Sticked away. McNaughton now with speed. Stops. Tries to get it back and Wilkinson will pick it off. And Wilkinson will flip it in. Our goaltenders tonight, we have Eddie Salo making the first career start in Minnesota Norse history, and Alexei Novak getting the start instead of Simon Fauschenbauer for the Stallions. Sticked away. Kovac for the Norse, coming in across the line. Kovac floats in. Albrechtsen, stopped by Novak. Up to Miller. Miller across the blue line. Bumped by Nikola. Tuominen now will stop. Puck gets knocked away. And Rain will try to get it there behind the net, but Bork knocks him off. Line up across the blue line. Sticked away. Kovachenko. Landenberg. Kovachenko. Landenberg stopped by Novak. And Novak will keep it going. Up to Miller. Miller flips it in. Sikora. Behind his own net to Langenberg. Low-key Langenberg up to Kovachenko. Kovachenko to Tuominen. Langenberg now enters his own. Puck will leave. And Calgary, the first one on. Fyodorov tries to go short side on Salo, but it's stopped. Tuominen now with the puck. Sikora to Tuominen. Tuominen to Gavrilchuk. Pitya Gravelchuk will stop. Gets it back to Nikola. Blocked away. And Bork able to get the puck in the corner. Up to Fyodorov. Fyodorov, tries to cut to the middle and Sikora will stick it away. Shepard gets this puck knocked away. Gavrilchuk will get on it. 12:40 left here in the first period. Far longer than there was without a goal last night. Back behind the net. Gavrilchuk, first one there. Ramsey up to Dalton. Dalton to Gavrilchuk. Shot, score! Pitya Gavrilchuk. Gavrilchuk, that's a mouthful for me. Pitya Gavrilchuk with assist from Dalton and Ramsey. So the first goal in Minnesota Norse history comes to a bit of an unexpected recipient, Pitya Gavrilchuk. I had just said we had gone without, a goal for longer than we'd seen in other games, but not so. As Minnesota gets on the board first with a 1-0 lead. Bure stopped by Novak. Slater trying to clear it out of the zone. Slater now with it. Slater up to Alden. Alden to Delaney. Delaney with space. Sticked away by Ramakers. McNaughton up to Bure. Bure cutting in. Tries to cut wide. Gets stopped there. Turns back. Sticked on net by Cotier. Alden flips it in. And we picked up there by Dalton. Dalton goes behind his own net. McNaughton with it. Up to Kovac. Kovac will retreat. Get it up to Dalton, the defenseman up in the rush. Dalton back to Rain. Rain tries to backhand it on. Bure. Sticked away. Reinhardt will now come free with it. Reinhardt to Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov sticked away. Rain now with it. Chris Rain up to Maddie Albrechtsen. Albrechtsen turns. Gets it to Rain. Shot. Glove saved by Novak, and he will hold onto it there. So again, Calgary with the win last night against Edmonton. In the Altercation of Alberta is what they're calling it now. The Altercation of Alberta. They won 7-6 with a third period comeback. They entered the third down 5-6. Scored 2 with goal late with about 3 minutes left. And Leon Miller blown up there by Thomas Bjornsson. Minnesota, this is their first game in franchise history. Nerzan Kovachenko down low. Langenberg, Tuominen, ooh, and a glove stop by Novak. Good setup there by the Norse, but unable to get it past the Swedish goaltender. Just under 8 minutes left. Calgary with only one shot on net thus far. Wilkinson, oh, and he has room. He'll get stopped there by Konstantinov. Stas Warshevsky tries to get it on net. Pretty weak shot, and then another quick one, and Salo able to stop it. Eddie Salo, the Finnish goaltender, as you can tell from the mask. Pedersen against Cotier. Cotier will come away with it to Bjornsson. Over to McNaughton, to Cotier. Cotier flips it down to trying to get it to Bure on the forecheck, but Magnuson, Joachim Magnuson were the first one to it. Pedersen now up with it. Protects the puck. Knocked away. In front. And Salo has to stick it away. Bjornsson up to Bure. Bjornsson now with it. Cotier cutting in. Blown up by Subin Bork. Kuznetsov to Magnuson. Pedersen now. Cuts wide. Gets it to Reinhardt. Ooh. He had a shot opportunity and he gets blown up by the Minnesota defenseman. Reinhardt will go and recover his stick after it flung out of his hands. McNaughton now. Over to Konstantinov, the defenseman up in the rush. Sticked away by Bork. Pedersen now with room. Ooh, and it's sticked away right at the last minute by Bjornsson. Kovac cross ice to Konstantinov. Met at the blue line by Magnuson. Fyodorov to Kuznetsov. Sticked away. Konstantinov kicks it out of the zone. Bernier now with it. Will retreat. Bogdanovich now with the puck. Turned over to Kovac, and he will get a penalty. Velimir Bogdanovich with the slashing call there right at center ice. Clear call, I would say. I'm happy with it, but it seemed pretty clear to me in real time. Yep, he just gets the stick in on Kovac. So now the first power play for the Minnesota Norse. Chris Rain will take the face-off against Robbie Delaney. Delaney wins the face-off. Bernier turned over to Rain. Albrechtsen scores! Maddie Albrechtsen off the turnover. Rain able to sneak it away. Hold it there for Albrechtsen. He swoops in and fires it past Alexei Novak for the Minnesota power play goal. So now 2-0, 4:14 left here in the first period. Calgary down 2-0 here at home. They got the win yesterday. They were down, I think, just only one goal yesterday. So we'll see if they can make a multi-goal comeback tonight after the third period comeback last night. Slater knocked away. Bjornsson now gets it across ice to Ramsey. Ramsey belted there by Stas Warshevsky. Alden now coming into the zone. Alden stays wide. Knocked off his stick by Konstantinov. Gavrilchuk up to Ramsey. Ramsey stays wide. Oh, and Gavrilchuk will score! Oh, and that one just leaks through Novak. So Petya Gavrilchuk. We had the first ever hat trick earlier tonight. We'll see if Petya Gavrilchuk can be the second ever, because he now has 2 goals here in the first period, set up by Ramsey and Konstantinov. Fyodorov across. Nikola back behind the net. Circles around. Langenberg tries to get it out of the zone. Goes back to Nikola. A little over 2 minutes left here in the first period. Minnesota with 3 goals already on Alexei Novak. Nikola in front. Gets to the front. And it's knocked away. Bernier gets it back on Novak. And he will hold on to it. Kovac against Fyodorov in the dot. And Kovac comes free with it. Albrechtsen gets it down to Kovac. Oh, and a glove stop by Novak. That was big. Novak on Kovac. What a stop. Kovac against Fyodorov again in the dot. Minute 27 left here in the first. Nikola knocked away. Rain in front. Oh, tries to get it across to Kovac and Novak. Not sure how much he was able to get a stick on that, Kovac, but Novak comes up with it anyway. Kovac and Fyodorov again. Kovac knocks it back. Magnusson will come up with it for Calgary. Magnusson bullying Kovac there, but Kovac kept the puck on his foot, keeps it away from Magnusson. Magnusson fighting for it there. It'll be Rain behind the net. Up to Albrechtsen. Albrechtsen to the slot. Glove stop by Novak. Tell you what, the pressure has been on Novak in his first career start here against the Norse. They have not made it easy for the young goaltender. Potier against Wilkinson. Sikora, glove stop by Novak. Wilkinson against Cotier again with just 17 seconds left here in the first period. Faceoffs have been for Minnesota as well. Ooh, and Sikora gets blown up by Leon Miller. McNaughton to Cotier. Nikola to Sikora. McNaughton across to Cotier, and that is going to end the first period of action here in Calgary. So a good start for the Minnesota Norse as Petya Gavrilchuk with a goal and Matty Albrechtsen, Gavrilchuk with 2 goals and Matty Albrechtsen with 1 as well on the power play. So 3-0, just 3 total shots for Calgary so far in the first period. They're going to need a lot more pressure if they want to come back on the Norse tonight. So that is it for the first period of action. We're going to head to the intermission, and we'll join you right at the beginning of the second period. All right, welcome back, folks, to Canadian Western Bank here. Canadian Western Bank Center here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, as the Stallions trail 3-0 to the visiting Minnesota Norse as we get the second period underway. Calgary with the face-off win. Konstantinov up to McNaughton. Reinhardt gets the turnover. Reinhardt cutting in. Reinhardt tries to get through, and it's sticked away. Good poke check by Salo there. Will lead the break. Bure coming across the line, sticked away by Warshevsky. Bure to McNaughton. McNaughton poked away by Novak. Bernier behind the net. Pettersson. Reinhardt now skating away from danger. Reinhardt now into the zone. Blocked off there by Bjornsson. Bjornsson across to Konstantinov. Bure over to Cotier. Cotier gets it poked away. Bure fighting with it there at the blue line. McNaughton over across to Konstantinov with a little bit of room. Gets put towards the boards by Kuznetsov, and he will come away with it. Reinhardt to Pettersson. Pettersson cutting in, stopped, and Bjornsson comes up with it. Kuznetsov to Pettersson and blocked away by Salo again. So good pressure so far by Calgary. They're going to need more of it, though, if they want to beat Salo tonight. Warshevsky with a stretch pass to Miller, and Konstantinov reads that play really well and blows up Miller. Rain now gets stopped there by Warshevsky. Miller up to Laine. Laine tries to make a move and sticks with it. Oh, and a penalty now here on Minnesota. There's going to be interference on Matty Albrechtsen, who had the power play goal earlier for the Norse. The Danish forward. I'm not really sure I saw much there. It looked like the puck was close enough to Laine for a hit, but the referee sees otherwise, and so it will be a power play for the Calgary Stallions here. Winslow sticked away. Dalton will now flip it out. Slater behind his own net. Up to Winslow. Fyodorov to Miller. Miller. Fyodorov. Sticked away. Delaney now down to Fyodorov. Slater. Down low to Winslow. Winslow on his backhand. Couldn't get it away. Nerzan Kovachenko will flip it on out. Slater. Over to Miller. Fyodorov. Fyodorov in the corner. Oh, and off the post! And it will fly up over the protective netting. A good setup in the slot, and it beats Salo but can't beat the post. So now that first power play unit with Reinhardt goes up against Kovachenko. Kovachenko will win the draw. Dalton will flip it out. So Winslow back to get it. Winslow up to Reinhardt. Reinhardt bodied there. Kuznetsov now. Oh, and that's going to be a penalty there. Kuznetsov into the slot, and it's stopped and touched by Minnesota. So that hit on Reinhardt, they're going to say he got the elbow up, did Gabriel Cesaro. I love the time to retire sign next to Cesaro in his rookie season. It'd be quite the career, one game and done, huh? So now a 5-on-3. They'll send back out the second unit, will Calgary, as Minnesota wins the draw, and Bjornsson skitters along the boards and gets it out. Bernier back to get it. Miller, 45 seconds on the 5-on-3. Fyodorov into the slot. Stopped! And Nikola will pick it up, and Nikola will flip it out. Bernier up to Delaney. Delaney over to Fyodorov. Fyodorov blown up there by Henrik Nikola. And Nikola will then flip it on out. So now 20 seconds left on the 5-on-3, but they will have the man advantage for a little over a minute. Delaney stick to side by Salo. Delaney now. Gavrilchuk. Nikola will get it out. Pedersen. Reinhardt now with it, as it is now just a one-man advantage. Kuznetsov to Delaney. Delaney to Reinhardt. Pedersen. Stopped aside. Bjornsson gets it out, and Calgary will go back to get it. Pedersen behind his own net. Gets it up to Laine. Laine to Bernier. Bernier across the line. Bernier in front. Stopped. Konstantinov will come free with it and flip it out. 25 seconds left, so enough time for one more rush here for the Stallions. Reinhardt. Bumped there by Konstantinov. First one to get there. Minnesota will flip it down. 10 seconds left. See if they can get it into the zone and get something set up here. Laine. Stick to side. Miller now in. Miller across to Fyodorov. Shot. Stopped. Oh, and Fyodorov tries to go back short side. Oh, and he flipped it out front to Miller and couldn't get it there. Salo gloves it and holds it. So good pressure right there at the end of the power play, but still nothing beating Salo at the moment. Those face-off numbers are surprising. It's felt like Minnesota's won every face-off in my estimation, but 9-8 at the moment. Stick to side by Salo as it comes on net. Slater to Alden. Alden knocked away by Salo as Alden gets to the front of the net. The fourth line out there now for the Stallions. See if they can get some energy going. Nikola out to McNaughton. McNaughton will turn back. Gets it out to Cotier. Cotier with a stretch pass up to Bure. Bure! Ooh, and he is blown up by Subin Bork, where he looked like he had a step, and Bork takes it away real quick. Cotier. McNaughton. Battle with it there. Alden to Nikola. Nikola in. Over to Cotier. Oh, and he tries to center to McNaughton and can't get it through Magnuson. Delaney. Over to Alden. Alden gets to the blue line and sticked away by Cotier. Delaney. Over to Fyodorov. Fyodorov shot blocked away. Big Henrik Nikola behind his own net. Cotier will come in there for support. Alden comes free with it. Shot, glove, stop. Salo coming up with the stop on Robbie Delaney. Delaney with the, Bork with the fishbowl there. Says the personal choice. He broke his nose when he was a kid. Decides to just stick with that. Gavrilchuk will win the draw. Konstantinov. Stick to side, but sticks with it. Oh, and good pressure by the Stallions. Oh, I believe that was off the post as well. Shepard loses it to Gavrilchuk. Gavrilchuk in search of a hat trick here tonight. And he gets blown up there on the defensive end. Shepard up with it. Across to Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich stops, gets it back to Warshevsky. Bernier, blocked down in front. Ramsey now away with it for the Norse. Ramsey into the zone. Ramsey stays wide, tries the center, nobody home. Konstantinov. Ramsey blocked away by Pedersen. Pedersen up to Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich stapled to the boards by Konstantinov. Ramsey just flips it to the center and Kovachenko there. Tumanin now. Tumanin to Konstantinov. Oh, and it leaks through, but it goes wide. The shot by Konstantinov got through Novak, but it goes just wide. Tumanin back to Konstantinov. Over to Bjornsson. To Langenberg. To Tumanin. Oh, and off the post. Now to Langenberg. Kovachenko. Ooh, and it's knocked down in front. Not sure that got to Novak. 7:50 left here in the second. The middle frame here. Still 3-0. No goals left yet in this period. Konstantinov, but we have had about 3 posts, I'd say. Langenberg behind the net. Tumanin. Langenberg knocked aside. Miller up to Magnusson. Owen with room. It's Pedersen. Shot stopped. Oh, and Laine had a chance. Couldn't get wood on it to get it past Salo. Pedersen slashed there in the middle. So the extra attacker, will they get him on? Bork. And stopped by Salo, so they think they had the extra attacker on, but not really much of an opportunity for the extra attacker. So Chris Rain, the assistant captain, will head to the penalty box. And just a slash right there in the dots. So Calgary back to the power play. They were unsuccessful on their first one tonight. As you see on the screen, just 2 shots on that power play. Blocked. It looked like the chest protector of Salo gets that one. So 6:20 left here in the second. Calgary searching for their first goal of the night after scoring 7 last night against Edmonton. Konstantinov will flip it out. This Minnesota team, good defense. That's what they wanted to build their team around. 4 high-level defensemen, so 2 top pairs, and then enough scoring from their top 2 lines to be successful. And right now it's been that, I believe, 3rd or 4th line with Petya Gavrachuk. I believe he is a 4th liner with 2 of those goals tonight. Pedersen up to Laine. Laine tries to make a move and does not work. I think you have to be a little more north and south and not as much east-west if you're a Stallion right now. Think about getting forward, getting pucks on net. Laine stopped there. Reinhardt tries to get it away. Still battled there. 2-by-2 with the Norse and Stallions. Gavrachuk will get it free, and Gavrachuk will flip it out. Pedersen, the first one on it. Oh, and we have a penalty on Calgary. Who's it going to be on? A slash coming to Alyosha Kuznetsov. So he tells the ref, yeah, I totally agree with that call. That was great. Wonderful call. See the replay here. Yep, right as Gavrachuk was trying to get it out, he tries to get his stick up, knocks it away. So Calgary coming hot and heavy with the shots in this second period. They had 3 in the first. Now 15 here in the second. Konstantinov down low to Bure, knocked away by Warshevsky. So we go 4-on-4. Reinhardt for another 15 seconds. Warshevsky inside. Ooh, and a glove stop, and then Salo able to pick it back up. It was knocked up in the air. Warshevsky had a chance, a well-aimed shot, but Salo able to glove that. So Bure against Reinhardt in the dot. Reinhardt knocks it away. Pedersen to Bernier. Glove down by Salo. So now a power play for Minnesota. They'll have a draw in their own zone, and they will go on the power play. So Delaney and Slater as the forwards out there right now for Calgary. Coutier, and he loses the draw. Warshevsky tries to get a low on Bure. The speedy Bronislav Bure in. Does not get through Novak. Tried to go 5-hole. And I think Novak had his stick there. Able to keep it out of the net. Face off here in the Calgary zone. McNaughton, glove stop by Novak. Minute 6 left on the power play, 4:14 here in the second. Another offensive zone draw for the Norse. Slater Gets it away. Can't get it out of the zone. Bure into the chest protector. Novak, he looked like he was going to play it for a second and decides, as he sees Coutier coming near him, that, nah, this is better to just let it go to a face-off, even though they haven't won one in a little while, have the Stallions. But they have Pedersen, one of their better face-off men, in there. He's unable to win it from Coutier. Shot blocked in front, and Bernier for the Stallions will skate away with it. Bernier flips it down. Bjornsson behind the net. Over to Kovachenko. Kovachenko up to Bure. Bure sticked away, but he's got room. Protects the puck. Ooh, and a good shot by McNaughton, but Novak, who has been perfect so far here in the second, gave up 3 in the first, has not allowed one past him in the second. Still on the power play here, 36 seconds. It'll be Rain, Langenberg, and Albrechtsen and Kovachenko, the 4 forwards out there for Minnesota. Over to Magnuson. Magnuson up to Delaney. Delaney coming into the zone shorthanded. Bjornsson sticks it aside. Goes to the corner. Bjornsson fought there with Delaney. Delaney now out in front. Oh, and a pad stop. A good setup by Delaney to Slater, but they couldn't get it past Salo again. So 3:13 left, and that is it for the power play. So an unsuccessful power play for Minnesota. Bjornsson over to Kovachenko, up to Albrechtsen. Albrechtsen gets it across ice to Rain. Rain will come in, gets it over to Albrechtsen. Albrechtsen flips it down. First one there is Bork for Calgary. Subin Bork turns. Now it comes back up ice to Pedersen. Pedersen across the blue line. Albrechtsen picks it off. Ooh, and a big hit there. Kovachenko now up for the Norse. He'll flip in and go off for a change. First one there is Warshevsky. Warshevsky up to Kuznetsov. Alyosha Kuznetsov cuts in. Now in the high slot, blocked away. Reinhardt behind the net with Bjornsson. And it's Coutier that will come up with it. McNaughton retreats, gets it over to Konstantinov. 1 minute left in the second period, the middle frame here. Bernier to Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov over to Reinhardt. Reinhardt coming in. Pedersen now in the high slot. Ooh, blocked down. Salo has it in front. Kuznetsov can't get it away. McNaughton, first one on it behind the net. They'll get it out to Bjornsson with 15 seconds left here in the second period. Coutier coming wide, goes to the corner. Blocked off there. Bure tries to get to the front of the net and can't quite, and that is going to do it for the second period here in Calgary. So no goals on either side as Minnesota entered the period with a 3-0 lead and exits the period with a 3-0 lead as Eddie Salo has had 23 shots on him and he's stopped all 23. Alexei Novak giving up 3 goals in the first period, none there in the second. So that is it for 40 minutes. We have a final frame coming up from Calgary right after the intermission. All right, folks, back to Calgary, Alberta, Canada with the Canadian Western Bank Center. Calgary still hunting for that first goal to get past Eddie Salo. They trail the Minnesota Norse 3-0 entering the third period. Pedersen with the interception to Warshevsky. Back to Pedersen. Pedersen in front, glove save by Salo, and he'll just hold on to it there. Pedersen against Coutier. Bjornsson able to skate away with it for the Norse. Bjornsson will turn back. Over to Bure. Up to McNaughton. McNaughton in. Knocked away. Pedersen will come up with it now. Pedersen up to Reinhardt. Reinhardt. Ooh, and he is blown up by Konstantinov. But it gets in front and Kuznetsov at least gets a shot off. I think it was in a little too close. He didn't have much room or an angle to get it past Salo there. So Minnesota, other than their first period where they fairly well dominated, you can tell they've definitely put on the brakes and tried to play a lot more conservative. I don't know if that's best for them. A good stop by Salo on Warshevsky. They're just sort of relying on Eddie Salo, which, I mean, he's quite possibly the best goaltender in the league coming into the season. They're just relying on him to stop everything that comes at him right now. Stopped up there. Bjornsson. Oh, and a good shot by Wilkinson, but it is stopped by Salo. So again, Calgary, they started the last period like this as well. They just are coming kind of hot and heavy right at the Norse goaltender. Stantonov away to Bjornsson. Bjornsson gets it out of the zone. Bjornsson will flip it down. Miller, the first one on it. He's pressed there by Bure. Miller tries to come out, sticked away. McNaughton now on the forecheck. Bure behind the net. Gets it up to the point. Cotier over to McNaughton. Back to Cotier in the slot and knocked down. Ooh, and a trip on Jason McNaughton. He trips up Marcus Laine. So he will head to the box. So Calgary headed to the power play down 3 goals. Getting one here quick would make this a lot more interesting, make it a 2-goal game, put the pressure on the Norse who have not. I mean, in the second period and to begin the third period here have not looked amazing on the offensive end. Stopped, stick to side. In front. Fyodorov tries to get it through. Konstantinov stops it. Cesaro. And it gets away. Kovachenko. Does he have a step on Bernier? He did for a sec, but Bernier knocks it away. Bernier and Kovachenko fight in the corner. Ramekers comes in. Cesaro. Cesaro to Konstantinov. Cesaro in front! Can't get it through Novak, so he ends up in the net. A good setup by Kovachenko. Fyodorov. Cross. Shot! Ooh, and it's gloved aside. Fyodorov. Bernier in the slot. Blocked away by Konstantinov. Cesaro. Flip it off the glass and out. Bernier behind his own net. 45 seconds left on the power play. 16 minutes here left in the third. Still without a goal. Miller in front. Ooh, and it goes awry. Dalton behind the net. And flipped out by Cesaro. Bernier. Over to Miller. Miller, stop there. Looks like Cesaro will come out of there with it. Pedersen pressed to the board by Gavrilchuk. Delaney up to Miller. Miller over to Bernier. Poked away. Dalton will flip it out. And that is it for the power play. So another unsuccessful power play for the Stallions here. They still trail 3-0 with 15 minutes left here in the third. Fyodorov into the zone. Delaney blocked away. Rain will get it up to Kovac. Kovac coming in. Kovac stays wide. Knocked off. Slater with it. Gets it across to Winslow. Delaney. Delaney in. Shot. Score! Bradley Reinhardt with the goal that finally beats Eddie Salo. So Minnesota resting back a little too much, and it's set up by Robbie Delaney and Valentin Winslow. So Bradley Reinhardt with that first goal for Calgary here at home makes it a 2-goal game with just over 14 minutes left. So Minnesota now on the attack. Kovac in front. Kovac stopped by Novak. Albrechtsen fights there with it. Magnuson will come out with it. Up to Pedersen. Pedersen will cross the line. Pedersen in. Konstantinov knocks him off. Rain with it. Rain will come free. Albrechtsen now. Gets it down to Rain. Oh, and he tries to get it across to Kovac. Can't quite do it. Then Rain had an opportunity from the low slot that was patted away by Novak. Kuznetsov now up as he comes in alone. Stantonov knocks it away. Albrechtsen behind his own net. Blocked off by Kuznetsov. Up to McNaughton. McNaughton pounded there by Kuznetsov. Or excuse me, by Fyodorov. And Stantonov away with it. Ooh, and a good stop as Bure got a hammer on that. Cotier. And Novak will hold on to that. So again, Alexei Novak was pressed in the first period and he gave up 3. Has not had to see as much here in the second and third period, but every time he has seen something, he's stopped it so far here in the second and third periods. 11:47, 3-1 lead for Minnesota on the road here. we've seen of the 6 games we've had, 5 of the 6 winners have been the road teams thus far. See if Minnesota can keep that trend going. The only home winner, team they're playing tonight, Calgary, as they came back. And another goal! This one is Velimir Bogdanovic. So the home team now just down a goal, set up by Shepard and Fyodorov. Velimir Bogdanovic. So 11 minutes now, down 1. Bogdanovic will win the draw. Bogdanovic in, walked away. Kovachenko with it. He'll flip it up. Oh, and it just wide of, who is that, Gavrachuk there? Orshevsky now, into the zone. Orshevsky comes wide, shot! Shepard will stop it. So Salo on that last goal just getting out of position. Slides to the one post and doesn't have enough edge to get back. Leaves a wide open, yawning cage. And it is pounded through by the Calgary Stallion. Kovachenko will flip it in. Orshevsky, the first one on it. Stas will come out. Wilkinson now up to Laine. Laine spins on goal. Oh, and it's just off the outside of the cage by Miller. Bernier now into the slot, stopped. And it is swept away by Nikola. He'll carry it out. 9 minutes left here in the third. Kovachenko over the line. Sticked away. Bernier on it. Up to Wilkinson. Wilkinson to Laine. Laine blown up. Nikola will now come away with it. They have numbers. Tumanin sticked away. Kuznetsov to Wilkinson at the benches. Wilkinson now to Winslow. Over to Reinhardt. Reinhardt will retreat. Get it up to Orshevsky. Orshevsky turns it over to Tumanin. Sikora now in. Martin Sikora in front. No shot. Winslow will come away with it over to Stas. Orshevsky up to Pedersen. Pedersen will come up the far boards. Gets it to Reinhardt in the middle. Nikola now comes away with it. Nikola up to Gavrachuk, who has 2 so far tonight. Gavrachuk behind the net. Shot blocked away. Winslow now with 7 minutes to go here in the third. 1 goal game. Cesaro belts Reinhardt at the line. Sikora up to Gavrachuk. Petya Gavrachuk. Centers to Ramsey. Backhand shot misses. Or excuse me, was stopped by Novak. Bure there in the corner. Delaney will come free. Up to Alden. 6 minutes now. We're nearing the 6-minute mark, I should say. Alden blocked. Bure, oh, and he's tripped by Alden. So Minnesota, once it gets touched up by Calgary, will go on the power play. And there it is by Delaney. So a trip on Simon Alden. Chris Rain will step in to take the face-off against Robbie Delaney. Minnesota 1 for 2 on the power play so far. Rain in front. Oh, and a glove stop by Novak. Rain able to lift the stick of Bork. Tries to get it on net, or he does get it on net, but can't get it through. The Swedish goaltender, Alexei Novak. Magnuson up to Bork. Bork over to Delaney. Delaney stick to side. Langenberg up to Albrechtsen. Albrechtsen knocked away. Kovachenko will get it up to Bjornsson. Bjornsson knocked down by Bork. Slater away with it. Up to Bork. Magnuson will retreat. Delaney knocked back into their zone. Now Magnuson will skate free. Over to Bork. Up to Slater. Albrechtsen will come free with it. Albrechtsen has Rain charge in the middle. Langenberg now Rain. Over to Albrechtsen. Oh, and he can't get the shot away. Good opportunity. Good setup there. Langenberg, Rain, and Albrechtsen unable to get one through. Cotier will flip it back to Nikola. Konstantinov to McNaughton. McNaughton shot, score! Jace McNaughton off the post and in. What a shot, what a snipe by Jace McNaughton as Konstantinov and Nikola will pick up the assists on the power play goal for Jace McNaughton. So it is back to a 2-goal game with 4:46 left. Face-off won by Calgary. Winslow to Laine. Laine into the slot. Banged it. No, that's Wilkinson. That said Winslow. Albin Wilkinson with the shot. Stopped by Salo. So as we approach, we are at 4.5 minutes. Approaching the territory of the game. Stopped by Salo. And good shot from the slot by Calgary. We're getting to that territory of pulling the goalie here. I think maybe another 1.5 minutes probably if you have good possession. Since you're down 2, Wilkinson now will skate away with it. Winslow will retreat in his own zone. Miller up to Laine. Laine turns it over, but Miller keeps it. And they are offsides. Miller just slowed up at the line a little bit by Nikola. And that causes them to be offsides at the line. Face off here for Calgary. Won by Albrechtsen. It was Pettersson. Rain gets it across to Kovac. Kovac backs up. Ooh, and a good thought, but Pettersson picks it off. Kuznetsov now. Kuznetsov cutting in, knocked away by Nikola. Rain now with it. Chris Rain is across the blue line. Steps in, shot. Glove stopped by Novak. So 2:20 left here. 2-goal game. It's Minnesota, the road team, leading 4-2 at the moment. We will also see if we can start a new trend every game. So far, you've needed at least 5 goals to win, or winners, have had 5 goals. Right now, Minnesota with just 4. See if they can just hold on to that lead. Minute 45. Tries to center. Kovac will get it away from that. I'm a little surprised Calgary hasn't tried to pull Novak yet. Try to get the extra attacker on. Laine now coming across the line, and there it is. So the net is empty. Chris Rain back with it. Up to Bure. Bronislav Bure. Over to Sikora. Up to Cotier. Cotier. And that will do it. Serafin Cotier. Set up by Sikora and Bure with the empty netter. So a 5-2 lead now for the Minnesota Norse on the road. Bure will skate in. Skates wide. Shot. Ooh, and a good stop as McNaughton was looking for his second of the night. Picked off by Warshevsky. Warshevsky plastered to the boards there. It'll be Shepard that'll skate away with it. Mateus Shepard up to Warshevsky. Poked away. McNaughton first on it behind the net. Picked off by Bernier. Bernier now with it. Up to Shepard. Shepard across the line. Shepard will flip it deep. Nikola first to pick it up there. McNaughton out with it. 20 seconds left. Ooh, and he's belted by Fyodorov. Bure belted by Shepard. Calgary looking like, we may not win the game, but we're gonna get our body. Fyodorov and Nikola fight for it there. Brought away by the Norse with 5 seconds left. Nice hit there. And that is going to do it here. Last final shot on net. But the Minnesota Norse get their first win in franchise history. Calgary loses their first game as they won last night against Edmonton. They lose here at home. Eddie Salo, a big performance for the Norse tonight, along with 2 goals from Petya Gavrilchuk and 2 assists from Dmitry Konstantinov. So, a final here from Calgary as Minnesota wins 5-2. That is it for us tonight. Stick with us here for post-game coverage. We'll be right back with you after a quick commercial break. All right, thanks for sticking with us for a late night stat check here as we have the Minnesota Norse with the 5-2 win over the Calgary Stallions in Calgary tonight. So as we look at total shots, pretty even, 36-34 in favor of Calgary. Hits heavily in favor of Calgary. A little surprised by that, but I think once we look at the player stats, those Minnesota hits are going to mostly come from the defensemen. Those forwards not with a ton of hits would be my guess. 2 for 3 on the power play for Minnesota. Calgary coming up 0 for 4. So that's a big hindrance for them, in trying to win the game tonight. So now let's head to our game stats. We'll start with the road team, the winners from Minnesota. Dmitry Konstantinov, 2 assists on the night with 2 points. Our other 2-point getters, Petya Gavrikchuk with 2 goals, and then Ricky Ramsey with 2 assists. Single-point getters kind of spread out pretty evenly. Nikola and Sikora, assists for each. Bure with an assist. Coutier with the empty netter at the end. Albrechtsen and McNaughton also with goals. And then Rain and Dalton with assists there. So our pointless Bjornsson, Kovachenko, Langenberg, Cesaro, Ramakers, and Tumanen. But a good depth performance as well, as you see not just that top line of McNaughton, Coutier, and Bure in there. Gavrikchuk with 2 goals coming off that 4th line. Ramsey, 2 assists. And then your defensemen, Nikola and Sikora with an assist each. Konstantinov, 2 assists. Albrechtsen on that 2nd line with a goal. Rain. And then Dalton, your 3rd D pair, comes up with an assist as well. So good performance hit-wise. See, we got 3 from Bjornsson, 3 from Albrechtsen, Sikora, 3, Nikola 4, and Konstantinov with 6 in the game tonight. Then for the goaltending, many believe he's the best goaltender in the world, and he's the best goaltender in the league. Eddie Salo coming up with a .944 save percentage on 36 shots, 34 saves, allowing 2 past him, and they didn't come until the 3rd period, kind of in quick succession there, off Reinhart, and trying to think who the second one was off of. Either way, Salo with a good performance here for the Minnesota Norse. That's right, it was Bogdanovich, Velimir Bogdanovich with the 2nd goal. So now we head to Calgary, looking at their stats. Bradley Reinhart with a goal, Fyodorov, Delaney, Shepard all with assists, Bogdanovich a goal, Winslow with an assist. So the biggest difference you see from last night is that depth that you're looking for didn't quite show up as much. I mean, you do have the Shepard, Bogdanovich, Winslow group getting the goal. And actually, maybe now as I look at it, maybe it's that top group that needs to do more. I know Reinhart scores a goal. Fyodorov, he's in your top 6. Delaney's not in your top 6. I mean, Warshevsky, no points. Bernier, -1. Pedersen, nothing. Only 5 shots on the night. Kuznetsov, a +1, but nothing on the scorer's sheet. Wilkinson, nothing. He had 2 goals last night. You look for Line A to score, and he didn't do anything. Miller, a -1 tonight. So not enough of the, I think just across the board, Calgary was outmatched tonight by Minnesota. You feel good with getting those 2 goals to get it to a 1-goal game, and then you it slips away from you in the end. So Alexei Novak, his night, .879 save percentage, not amazing, not terrible, I would say. I've seen a lot worse in these first couple nights. 33 shots he faced. He allowed 29. One of them was an empty netter. He had a rough first period, rough go of it in the beginning. I think he played much better, and he looked a lot more confident down late. I don't think there's any need for goalie controversy. I still think Fauschenbauer is the way to go for the Stallions. But I think, if anything, this does give you confidence that Alexei Novak, when pressed upon, he can, maybe steal a game for you like he almost did tonight. So that is it for the stats. We'll go ahead and take a look at the goals tonight. Let's see, we want goals. So, yes, the 3 from Minnesota in the first period. Gavrikchuk from Dalton and Ramsey, Albrechtsen from Rain, and then Gavrikchuk from Ramsey and Konstantinov. Second period without any goals. And then the 3rd period, the 2 in pretty quick succession, 3 minutes and 16 seconds apart. Reinhart from Delaney and Winslow, and Bogdanovich from Shepard and Fyodorov. Made it a 3-2 game, and it stayed that way for about 7 or 8 minutes there, as then McNaughton on the power play snuck it past Novak or sniped it, I should say. It wasn't no sneak. He fired that thing past him from Konstantinov and Nikola, and then Cotier with the empty netter from Sikora and Bure. So that is it for night 2 of PIHANA hockey. We will be back with you. I believe we have another triple header. Yes, another triple header tomorrow night. So 3 straight triple headers. We'll start with Toronto at New York. Toronto looking for their first win. New York looking to go 2-0. Boston will be at Ottawa. Both teams now there looking for their first win. And then Minnesota, the Norse, we just saw tonight, will head north to Edmonton, and they will face the other Alberta team up there. Edmonton looking for their first win on the season. So thank you for joining us for another triple header of PIHANA hockey. Hope you enjoyed your night, and we will see you tomorrow night for another triple header. See you, folks.